2016 was one of the, no, not one of, it was my worst year ever. Like, I was very, very unhappy that year. There were 5 steps, I would say, that I took towards the end of that year, and they brought me out of that, and I was back to my happy self. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Reporting to you live from Miami, one of the happiest places on this planet. I truly believe so. Or maybe even up there with Disneyland. I may actually say that. But yeah, I get asked so many times, how are you so happy? What's the secret to being happy? What do you do to stay so happy? How can I be happy like you? And for the longest time, I always thought, I don't really know how to answer this question. Like, what can I tell people? Like, I'm just happy. And then I stopped and actually thought back and thought, you know what, I've always been a really happy person. I mean, my middle name is Joyce. I always say names are a powerful thing. And then I thought there was a small period of time where I was actually, you wouldn't know this from just watching my YouTube, but I'd say like 2016 was one of the, no, not one of, it was the worst year, my worst year ever. Like, it was a very, very hard year for me. And I was very, very unhappy that year. I don't like to self-diagnose, so I'm not going to say, you know, I was going through depression or anything like that. But I would say, I lost my sparkle. That's what I say. And I've stopped and thought about it and thought, there were 5 steps, I would say, that I took towards the end of that year, and they brought me out of that, and I was back to my happy self. So yeah, if you will, this will be 5 steps that worked for me, that I believe can help you be happy again. Maybe they could just help you become a happy person in general, because I believe at the root of unhappiness, of course, there is something that has led you to get to that. So hopefully this helps. If you do like the sound of that and want to find out how to be happy or how to be happy again, keep watching. Okay, so step 1, remove yourself from your everyday surroundings. What I did is I ended up, where did I go? I went to Berlin, and you don't even have to like leave the country. You could book yourself into, say, like a hotel or a holiday and somewhere just away from where you normally are, and it just gives you time to think and reflect and whatnot. Just find a way to remove yourself from your everyday surroundings. So like I said, I went to Berlin initially. So the plan wasn't even, this trip was not meant to be, I'm going to become happy again. That wasn't the goal, but that's what it ended up doing. But I just remember thinking, I hadn't been away anywhere for me. Like, I had been away that year a few times, but every time I had been away, it was for a purpose. So we went to Uganda, which I loved there, and I had a really great time. But it was for like a family event that we had taking place. So that was the reason for going there, and it was solely focused on that. I went to Barcelona, loved it there, definitely want to go back. But that was for my best friend's sister's hen weekend, so every day was focused around that, of course. I had a great time, one of my favorite holidays. But again, it wasn't a trip for me, and I really wanted to take a trip for myself. So I, like, upon doing loads of research, great, because initially I was going to go away by myself, great place to go as a solo trip, as like whatever. I did a lot of research into it, and it ended up being Berlin, because I wanted something that wasn't too expensive either. Otherwise I would have gone to LA or come here to Miami. But yeah, while I was booking that, or looking to book it, I was going to book it that night, my friend at the time, who was part German, just so happened to message me out of the blue. And I was like, maybe this is a sign. So I said, you know, I'm booking this tonight. If you want to come, let me know and we'll go. Yeah, and she was up for it. And so then I also messaged my best friend, Ruth, if you're watching, hey, who I had met this friend through Ruth. So I was like, we're going away. Do you want to come? She was like, yeah. So we all booked it that night. And I think we went like the following week. So yeah. So take yourself out of your everyday surroundings. Going to Berlin was definitely outside of my everyday surroundings. Step 2, be still. Now, when I say be still, I don't mean like just sit there. and physically be still. I mean, it could be, but like, give yourself time to reflect, whether that be you could go on a walk, that could be you being still. That makes sense. Like, just stop what it is that you're doing. My everyday life is super busy. Like, I'm continuously on the go. Like, it's like you go to work, you come home, you do what you need to do. You don't have time to actually stop and think and reflect. And what I did to be still is, even though I was going away with my friends, I said one of these days is like, I made an itinerary so I could do it in a nice way, but say, leave me alone. But I said that, like, there was one day I called it Do You Boo or whatever, and that was just basically, you guys do whatever you want to do. This whole day is mine. So they went off out and went to explore, and I just spent that day by myself. And I remember from the minute that they went off to do their thing and the door shut and they had left the room, I just started crying, like, while I was doing my makeup and just getting ready. And I didn't feel bad about the fact that I was crying. It was a good cry. It was, my brother calls it emotional hygiene. Like, I was just cleansing myself. And like, I get goosebumps whenever I think about that moment, because there was just something so therapeutic about that whole day. So yeah, I started getting ready. I had no plan. I had no plan of what I was going to do. I just knew I needed that whole day just for me. So I went off into town. I was just walking around aimlessly, just thinking. And it wasn't like I had this like big idea of, this is going to be my aha moment. This is what is going to help me. It wasn't that at all. I was just saying, do you? So I ended up going into a bookstore, and then that's where step 3 comes in. Again, I hadn't planned this out, but step 3 is write it down, journal, express yourself, cry it out. So I went into this bookstore, I was just walking around, looking around. I didn't know if I was going to buy it, but something drew me to that store. And then I found a journal. So I bought that, went upstairs, they had like a cafe area. And I just started to just write down, like, journal things out. Like, I wrote a letter to myself. I wrote a poem. The first thing I did, actually, I just let my thoughts just roll out onto the paper. And as I was writing, I was crying. And it was just, like I said, I think back and it just, it gives me shivers. There is something very therapeutic about just getting it onto paper. And I was surprised at some of the things I was writing down and reasons for why I had been feeling the way that I was feeling. I didn't expect some of the things that came out to come out on that paper. So I highly, highly recommend just write it down, get it on paper. So yeah, that was step 3. And after that, I mean, I wasn't like, oh, okay, I'm all good now. No, that wasn't the case. But I did, when I remember coming back home and just feeling better. I remember, like, there were certain things that I knew were the root of the way that I was feeling, and I remember facing those things and not feeling that anger and that hatred that I had before after coming back from Berlin. It was, I remember stepping through the door and just thinking, it's gonna be okay. And I wasn't like super happy straight away, but I remember thinking, it's gonna be good. Step 4, I would say, have the right people in your life. If they don't bring you joy, goodbye. One thing that I'm so thankful for, and if you follow me on social media, you'll see I'm always giving a shout out to my friends, just loving on my friends. Like, the friends that I have in my life, I am so thankful for them, because number one, they definitely bring me joy. And even in the times where I was in a really bad place, I remember when I'd spend time with them, for that time I would feel really good again. I would go back to the way that I was feeling, but for that short period of time, they would bring me so much joy. But after, like, getting away, taking myself out of my everyday surroundings, now it wasn't so much like just covering up mess, like, you know, in your room, if it's messy and you just chuck it under the bed. That was how it was when I'd spend time with them. Like, it would be my pain and my hurt and my sadness would be just chucked under the bed, but the mess is still there. Whereas now, when I spend time with them, it was like I was taking my time and putting things away slowly but surely. And so I was building on getting back to the me that I am, and they were helping. And I don't think they know how much of a role they played or they play in my happiness, even though I'm continuously saying, oh, I love them, oh, they're the best. Truly, truly, truly they are. And I think your friends should always see the greatness in you, so that at times when you forget it, at times when you don't feel that good about yourself, they remind you just how great you are. If you don't leave hanging out with your friends feeling like the best version of yourself, if you don't think back to the time you spend with your friends, and I'm not just talking about like going on holiday or going out clubbing, I'm talking about just chilling at home, just like talking to them on the phone conversations you've had. If you don't think back to those times, just like with so much happiness in your heart, they may not be bringing you joy. I mean, well, that's what I want from my friends, and that's exactly what they give me. So yeah, like I said, make sure you have the right people in your life. Even my family, like my siblings, I am so thankful for them. Like, I love them with all my heart. They're like my best friends as well, I would say. And sometimes I can just stay at home with them. I don't want to go out. I just want to chill with my brothers and sister and just be us. Like when we're just like at my sister's house, just the four of us, just talking. Sometimes they want to watch a film. I'm like, no, let's not watch a film. Let's just sit and talk. Let's just talk. Like I love spending time with them so much. So the people that I have in my life help make me the happy person that I am. Like I can just sit and think about them and just think, wow, how did I get so lucky? So yeah, if the people in your life don't make you feel like that, if you leave feeling insecure, if they bring you unhappiness, get rid of them. It sounds so simple, but sometimes you need to stop and just think about it and think, do you know what, actually, maybe I shouldn't be spending my time with that person. And I'll be honest, there were a few people that I don't really have time for anymore. Step 5 would be daily affirmations. Like every morning. To start with, I would like do them in the mirror, and it did feel a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely did. But it got more comfortable, and after these steps, now I'm not saying taking these steps straight away, I felt better. But as time went on, it was like they set the groundwork for me to get, shall I say, better or happier. And as time went on, I saw my life changing, and I'd do these affirmations with like a smile on my face or whatever, and it just, I could see myself getting back to the me that I was before and just getting happier. And then I got back to being the happy me that I am. And I think it was like, because I remember we went away to Berlin. It was like towards the end of the year, because we came back and it was a couple of days until it was going to be the new year. And it was a great way to start 2017, and a lot of good things did happen in 2017. I met some great people that I'm glad I met after being in a better place, and I didn't meet them in 2016 when I was not me. I wasn't happy. I wasn't the me that I wanted to be. And a bonus step, actually, I would say what you write down, revisit it after some time and read it. There is actually a video on this channel, I think it was my end of year video for 2017 maybe or something. I revisited what I had written down whilst in Berlin, and I read it out, and I was just crying because it was crazy. It was like I was reading a journal of a completely different person, like someone else's, but it was like going back to how I was feeling at that time and knowing I'm in a different and better place now. Just rereading that, it was a very emotional experience. So I would say revisit it, and it would be even more healing to think, wow, I am actually doing a lot better now. Just a little bonus round, a bonus step even. But those are the 5 steps that I took, and they helped me. Hopefully they can help you. Not to say that this is the only way. So if you know any other ways to get yourself out of a funk or what helps you be happy, comment that below, and we can help people out. There's probably a lot more that I haven't said that works for other people. But those are the 5 steps that helped me get back to being the happy me that I was before that very dark period in my life, shall I say. But yeah, hopefully this helps. That is how I'm happy, because I feel like that's one of the most asked questions I get. How are you so happy? Why are you always smiling? And that is it. That is why. So I hope this helps you. But yeah, I'm gonna go now and enjoy the rest of my time in Miami. Leaving today. But there should be a vlog coming out that I've kind of been vlogging out here, so that will be out shortly. I don't know if I said this, but I'm recording off my vlogging camera, not my usual Canon camera. I think I'm going to be recording off this now. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and as I always say, if you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff I'm going to ask you to do. Please do. And I'm just rambling now, and I don't really know how to end this, so I'm just gonna go.